So there are communities can be of community licenses can be three types: customer community, customer community plus, and partner community. There is a unique table already dedicated to show you the difference between these three. But the most important differences, let me cover this. Customer community plus, and partner community. If I have a table like this, the most basics are that in partner community, you get the opportunity object that you don't get in customer community or customer community plus. Uh, in customer community, you don't get to create accounts, but here you can create accounts. Okay. And another part is that in customer community, you can create reports and dashboards. Same here. Reports and dashboard is not possible. So there are many other differences, but primarily these three would always come to you when you decide which kind of community license do you need for your users. What kind of users are they? Are they helping you for your business process? If that, then it's a partner community. What kind of if they are not partners, if they are customers, then which license should you give? The plus license or CC? If they need reports and dashboard access, if they want to create accounts, then probably you need the customer community plus license. And in the same community, you can have people from different license types. So community is different and community license is different. So please remember this. What is a community then? Community is just like a web page or a portal which you create, wherein people can log in and they can do their work. And there can be different licenses, people, license types like customer community plus, or a partner community license people who can work together, and even internal people, internal like Salesforce license, they can all work together. By default, internal users are all, they can log into communities. Okay, you don't need to create another separate login password for them. But for partner and customers, you can switch a contact to a user. So you can create a user from a contact. So what happens is that a contact will become a user automatically behind the scene. So you already have an account. Underneath, there can be multiple contacts. So you can switch this contact to a user. Okay. And this user will always log into this, like under this account thread. So he or she will only work in the context of that account. So they can only see data of this account or all the data related to this account. They cannot see data from other accounts. Yeah, that is already segregated. So that is how what the model will work. So you can even have hierarchy inside this kind of customer users or partner users. Simple community users don't have a hierarchy, but if you are a customer plus license, you can set up a new role, external role. If you have partners, you can set up roles. Roles can be 3 levels only, maximum 3 levels. It's always good to have only one role, but you can go up to 3 roles. External, these are called external roles. So let's see how that works in Salesforce. here you see this is called digital experiences. So if you go to settings, enable digital experiences. So this will build pics. This is like website, portal, communities, forums. This is all what you want to create. So if you enable this, first it will ask for you to give you a domain name. That is very important. Yeah. So you check the availability of this and you enable domain. Why this domain name is important? Just like you registered a website, a domain has to be registered. Otherwise, you cannot, that will not work for you. That you have to register that address for yourself, right? Then only you can go that. So now you can create sites and basically you can create a customer facing URL.
Sir, one question.
Yeah.
Is this the same domain actually when we start means into Lightning Aura component?
Yes.
There is also we need to create the domain, right? So is this same?
My domain is same. So every organization, Salesforce is saying that do not use login.salesforce.com. Create your own URL. So you can register a domain which is in line with your official domains. So like if I am on rework.com, then you should create something like rework.com on Salesforce, right? So that it aligns with your business, and then you log in through that domain rather than login.com.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly the same. But yeah, but this domain will have a separate URL. I will show you that. So there can be different types of templates. So what you need for it. So somebody was talking about B2b Commerce, right? So these are like templates which you have, which you can build. This is basically building something from scratch. Build your own, completely customizable. There are some customer account portal. There can be customer service. Most frequently is used this one because communities is mainly used for customers, wherein they can log their tickets, log their cases, create cases, and that internally people can see that, right? So that becomes very easy, handy for them. Partner Central is the partner portal for working on opportunities along. So like you have salespeople, but you also have agents, like external agents. You want to work with them on any opportunity. In that case, you will create a partner portal. Aloha, this one is used just for launching different applications from Salesforce. So this is also a quite used template which we have. Then we have the Salesforce tab and Visual Basic. That is the old strategy. Those who come from Visual Basic background probably will find this handy. So let's see. Let's create a customer community wherein people can log their tickets. My customers can log their tickets. Mainly it is used in this purpose. So I say that you can put an optional app name here also. We want to keep these separate, right? Because you see something like this. It can take some time. Meanwhile, any questions so far as we are working on it?
So what is versions in Salesforce? Many types of versions.
Okay, I will come to that. So site is now created. Okay, so now you can build a site in this using a builder. Yeah, so there are many things you can play around this. I will not get into all these details, but administration and builder would be the most important part for you to build. So this is how the site by default looks like, and you can see what are the different components are there, which you can use. You can choose different themes if you want, colors, images, fonts, just like building any web page, right? You can change the page structure if you want. You can change the settings, like do you have public access or not, do you only authenticate people or not, what are the topics you will have, what is the navigations you will have. Okay, then you can change this title, and you can, like, every section you can change on your own. You go and click and update that. Menu experience you can change. Searching option you can change, like it will search where. Yeah, page actions you can change. Then page properties you can change. You can put SEO, that is search engine optimizer, so that Google finds your pages and in a better way. Then of course you have the view mode here, how it will look like in a desktop. Preview mode is there before publishing the page. You can, like, see this and publish. When you do that, immediately it is available as a website. So right now, if I preview, the page looks like this, right? If you're happy with it, or you can change this. Welcome. Maybe I will change a customer. Yeah, and you probably so what happens if you go to the workspace or get to the sites, a digital experience site, settings. Now you see, you will have these are the this is a subdomain we have created, right? TCS enablement completed, and this is basically force.com subdomain which we have created. And what are the custom URLs we can see? See, this is the customer community URL which we have created, right? Now, what we are going to do is that we are going to publish. And if you publish this, what happens? You can, this also shows up as an app for internal people. So I don't know what is the name did I get? TCS enabled customer service, right? This becomes an app for you. If you click this, you see this is the URL. It goes into this. So what happens if I open this in Safari? This link you will share to your customers. Customer will come, and customer has to log in like this. Okay, and they will log in and they will get to a site like this. Simple. And you can change this site to anything what you want. So this becomes a public facing website which you can develop using Salesforce, which is authenticated, right? So give a better experience for external people, no, not the internal users of Salesforce. Got it?
Sir, can this also be used as a blog page or blog website kind of?
Yeah. So this is basically a community to talk about. So you can ask a question, you can put new posts if you want. Yeah, everything can happen. So this is basically I'm just asking a question. I think those post to topics needs to be given, and you put a question, it immediately becomes a discussion forum, and people can reply, people will talk with each other. Yeah. Another important feature, very important, that is used for customer service is basically live agent. So this thing you see enable chat. So if you enable chat, you can enable this chat. There is a lot of configuration which so this will come here. I will show you one example. Where chat is enabled. Let's see. It will take some time. I will check in later. So what you can do, the customer can chat with the internal agents. Yeah. So they can raise tickets. I will show you how it is done.
Sir, for customer to log into this site and chat with the user, we should also provide the credential to the customers, right? So it's the
Yes.
same way we have done in the security model, like creating user and providing the access, the same, or it's a kind of different?
Yeah, it's same. So here basically, as I said, here you will convert any of the contact as user. So like this is the account. Underneath I have this contact, right? When I go there,
Yes.
I enable customer user. You see this one?
Okay.
If you enable him as a customer user, then what happens? You are creating a user only for him, and you see the user license which is happening. Got it?
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
And yeah, that is it. Do I have chat enabled here? Yeah. So I can put my email, I can put somebody else's email, whatever, right? And then I set up, and then you will log in using this user's access. I'll give you an example. You see generate password here. This is happening. So this user immediately gets a notification to set his password. Just like creating a new user, right? If you go and create a new user, just like simple, when you save, immediately it goes and generates a password for you. So user is intimated right away. So some more settings are required that needs to be enabled. Anyway, so the idea is this will immediately trigger that, and then basically you will go to where is the internal user? So this cell, this contact once again. If you go to the context again, once again, it on this action item you can see go to portal, something of that sort. It will show up. So you will click it, immediately it will open the portal into a new tab, and this will be automatically logged in with that person's credential. Okay, so you can see how that person will see the external link. And so I will give you example of how this, it is the same. It is just external facing, but it is basically the same database. So no changes. Whatever, it is a to and fro between external people and internal people. So internal people are here using normal Salesforce. The external customers and partners are outside. They don't use login.salesforce.com. But they can, of course, raise tickets. Like I say, I will create a new contact. Test portal. Probably I will create a new account. Portal. I will give my subject as test portal case and submit it. So you see, this case number is there, right? This is generated for my customer. But if I go here and search for it, where is it? This portal case is there. It is created, right? So this is how it is basically working. So external people will create case, and it will come to internal people's working. So they will work on this case. And what is the case status? Status is new, right? I can go and like say it is escalated now, or I am working on it. And case origin will be web, right? I go to the home page, and I can put up a case tab here also. That's not there, but I can assign case tab, so I can see all my cases. In that case, you will see the status is again changing further. Yeah, so that is how we will get to and fro between a customer and a internal user. And they can also collaborate in discussion forums. We can enable chatter here. We can enable live chat here, wherein you can directly talk to a guy who is basically will taking the chat here, and automatically that creates a case for you. So many features which you can explore on. So play around. But this is a very important feature of Salesforce that you should know about. And of course, this is very handy when you are talking to users who are external facing. Another important part which you need to know is that you just like in Salesforce, internal users is a user-based license. So you create the users, number of users you have, you pay Salesforce for that number of users. Right? So Sales Cloud license, Service Cloud license, any other products, all these internal user license are user-based, number of users-based license. But for Experience Cloud, the license can be two types. One is same number of users. Another is logging-based license. So number of users might be not login based license might not be productive for you, because you don't know, your customer might might not be logging in frequently, right? You do not know. It is rarely used, probably. There is no control over these people, right? So you might waste a lot of license this way. That is the reason why most of the customers choose not to use user based license. They go with login based license. Login based license means how many times people are logging into your website. Based on that, you basically are paying to Salesforce. That is more productive for this kind of a situation for external facing customer, wherein the users don't have prediction how much will they use that application. It's on their whims, right? there is no process for them to like tell them you use this one or that one. So on the user base on which you have no control, their behavior you cannot control. It is more sensible to go for a logging based license, because you then pay Salesforce based on how many times they are using the page, rather than keeping a license blocked for a person who probably has never logged in, because he already only calls you for his problems. He never goes to the website. Now, what is the point of blocking a license for him, right? So it is very critical when you suggest to customer, always suggest a logging based license rather than user based license. But internally, everything should be user based. So we finished the topic of communities today and licensing. I hope this will give you a better understanding to what you are working on Salesforce. Another area of quick connect I want to make. Maybe I will talk about this in the next session. But that would be the integration part, which is out of box integration. What are the out of box integrations? One is outbound messages. One, I think in the trail you have already completed it, but I just want to reinitiate what is these doing it. Out of box integration. Another is basically your external services. I think that is also part of your trail. And platform events. You will hear this name too much. There are some more things along with platform events that also will cover. These are all out of box integration, which you should know, because try to create all integration using these three categories and not go for coding part. This coding is not a good practice for integration. Okay, so we'll come to this discussion next week for how we integrate between systems, Salesforce and other systems using out of box methods. That's all for today. Any questions?
Sir, versions of Salesforce.
Yes, versions. So what Salesforce does is that Salesforce has 3 releases every year. Yeah. So what happens when you are basically working in actual environments? There can be like customers can what you are using a playground, right? What kind of Salesforce org is this? This is called developer edition. This is free developer edition. So whatever playgrounds we are creating, you can create your own developer edition also directly. So these are all free. And there are only 2 users, which you can, 2 Salesforce users that you can create. Salesforce means Salesforce license, you see. We discussed the license, right? So 2 Salesforce license users you can create on developer edition. One is already you have created for yourself to do, and another one you can create. So this is a free org. Apart from that, usually customers cannot use this one, right? This org is of no use for them, because they will have 30-40 users, mainly internal users, and then hundreds of external customers. So what kind of license will they need? So their org can be many types. One is professional edition, enterprise edition, unlimited edition. So these things, like in professional edition, I think you cannot create workflows. In a edition, I think there are limits of some features. You can see what are the difference between these editions. Unlimited edition, usually all the features are enabled here. So customer can choose any of them. Based on that, their licenses for per user will change. Many things comes out of box based on which like editions they are using. So when they choose their box, based on the editions, it depends. But most of the time, what happens, there would be a production. For developer edition, there is only one box, and that is production. There's a live environment. That's it. There's no testing box. But when you go for unlimited edition and this editions based on the which license you need, let's talk about unlimited edition. So you get different boxes you can create, boxes or orgs, replica orgs you can create. That does not get created on login.salesforce.com. That gets created in a different server called test.salesforce.com. This is only for testing and development. So there are many types of boxes you can create, or many types of orgs you can create. These are all sandbox orgs. These are not production orgs. So these are not on login.salesforce.com. This is internal. So what happens? There can be a full copy sandbox. We call this sandboxes. Full copy. There can be partial copy. There can be dev pro. There can be dev. And we are discussing also scratch org nowadays. We'll see that. Full copy means entirely a copy of production. So everything. The whole copy is just like another production box, but this is not in login.salesforce.com. It's a replica of your production box. Every data, every metadata, everything is copied over. So this is mainly used for UAT or staging. Staging means just before deployment, you want to test it once again. So that usually it is done for UAT and staging. Partial copy is not copying all the data. Metadata, of course, all these boxes will copy the entire metadata. So whatever change, whatever configuration or customization you have done on you have deployed here, everything is copied over to this sandbox. And you can refresh also. So what happens is you have put something from this box to production, or directly made any changes in the production. When you take the last refresh, it will have the older version. So you have to refresh again to get the new version. So you have to refresh all these boxes, and these boxes can be refreshed based on different intervals. Full copy sandbox can be refreshed every 29 days. You cannot refresh after 1 day. So there is a limit to how many times you can. Partial copy probably it is 10 days or 7 days. I forgot that. Dev Pro every day. Scratch org, dev box, you can refresh every day. So metadata is copied over to this box. Whether the data, absolute data will be copied over or not depends on which kind of box you are creating. So if it is partial copy, then you can choose which objects you will copy, which data you will copy to this partial copy. Not every data will be copied. Dev Pro, Dev Box, and Scratch orgs do not have any data. Zero, no data from production is copied. And these are small boxes. Usually these are used for developers because they are working on functionality, not much data. So typically they will spawn this org immediately, work on it, put it on a test partial copy or a full copy to test it, and then deploy it to production. That is the way it will usually work. There can be multiple environments in your strategy. So you can have a dev org, then you will deploy to QA environment, maybe that would be a partial copy. Then you deploy it to a full copy UAT environment, and then you will deploy to production. Usually this is one of the flows. And this deployment is done using many tools, but one of them is chain set. You can create a chain set. You can select all the metadata which you need to move directly across org, and it can directly be put here. Chain set concept will come only if you have a production environment that is the unlimited edition. In developer edition, you cannot create a chain set because you only have one box, that is the production. And now what Salesforce does is that every 3 months, every 4 months in a year, they will have 3 releases. One they call summer, one they call winter, one they call spring. These are the 3 releases they have every year. So summer 21, winter 21, spring 21, it will 22, summer 22, spring. So this is how this will, the winter will be in the December which will be the next year date. So when we will be in December, we will probably see the release is called Winter 22. That's the next year thing. So what happens is production, the date on which this, what happens, Salesforce releases new features. Okay. And 1 month before the release to production, it will say, give the release note. It will publish the release note to all customers. And they will also allow customers to upgrade or like refresh or create a new sandbox, which has this release. So it will be upgraded. So it might happen that dev, QA, and production all are on spring, but only this one has become winter. So this has new release, Salesforce release, but this is old, this is old, this is old. So on this particular date, this will become winter. But before that, 1 month before releasing winter, you can create a box to test these features, put your code into that and understand how it is working. And then on the day of production release, you are better prepared, or you have made some changes so that the release is smoother. You don't have any defects or bugs in your application. So this is called a preview sandbox. Any sandbox which is basically ahead than production is called a preview sandbox. That preview sandbox allows you to test the upcoming release based on the configuration and customization you have done. Many times there is a new release from Salesforce that has made it out of box, and maybe you have customized or configured that. You will throw out that code and use the Salesforce default. So there are many things you have to do. This is a platform team that periodically does this over the year. Support teams also work on it. They check what is the release note. Is there any impact for our applications or not? Yeah. Maybe you will have to consult an architect also. Salesforce also releases defect fixes. Salesforce also has bugs. So it will also do some defect fixes for in these releases. Clear? Any questions?
No, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, Animesh, just one question regarding this. Once we move data from this partial copy to full copy, the record ID gets changed. Like, what is this concept all about? Is this something that is happening?
Please come again.
Yep. Once we move data from the partial copy to full copy, metadata and data, the record ID of those data that is there in the partial copy will get changed.
No,
like,
no.
Is there something like that?
No. So when you copy the sandbox, when you have copy of data only happen in full copy and partial copy, right? So in full copy and partial copy, whatever data you are copying, the Salesforce ID remains same. But if you are creating new records here, that you have to again load back into production later, right? So invariably that ID and this ID will not be same.
Okay.
So backflow data is same. Forward flow ID is not same, because it is done again and again. There is no automatic way of moving this data from sandbox to production. You have to load that data. But refresh is the easiest way to bring the data of production into these boxes. And it will be the same ID. Record ID is absolutely same. Now you can question me, how is it possible? Same record ID. Salesforce is a multi-tenant organization. How is the same ID are we producing? Now we have to remember that the sandbox is on a different server, right? It is a test.salesforce.com. So in login.salesforce.com, you have a record ID which is unique. That does not mean that record ID will be unique in another system, right? So test.salesforce.com, I can have a record ID with the same.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No, sir.
Okay. Great. I will stop the recording.